Hola, buenos dias. Welcome to video number 11. In this video, we briefly look at the countries, the European countries that can be relevant as a sending country for Costa Rica as a wellness tourism destination. It's very important to highlight one more time, as we did it earlier in the previous video, that every country has its special characteristics, and communication as well as product development would need to look at that. We also understand that the demand from North America is way more relevant than the demand from Costa Rica. However, the wellness demand, especially from Germany, Austria, or Switzerland, can represent really a very attractive market opportunity here. And we spend a little bit of time here to discuss it and introduce the key differences. We would talk about Germany, Austria, Spain, France, Switzerland, the Netherlands, and the UK. Why these countries? Because they have strong supply as well as demand in various parts of the wellness continuum. First of all, I have to mention Germany. The German market is very mature, very developed. The customers are very savvy. They know very well what they want. They're very experienced. The German market, there's a large number of wellness hotels, hot spring-based facilities, holistic services, amazing equipment, technology, very well-trained therapists, great brands. So the German wellness visitor can really have anything and everything already being at home. So when they travel, they really have high expectations in terms of concepts, in terms of services, in terms of quality. We cannot really sell them something which may sound similar or may sound interesting, but it wouldn't deliver. German guests are really having very high expectations. In terms of Austria, the difference is that the market is less varied, less diverse. However, they have a very strong interest in nature, the incorporation of rural services and nature into their wellness treatments and wellness facilities. Also, the family market in Austria is very strong, and in their understanding, wellness and family are not mutually exclusive terminologies, more like inclusive. So I have a large number of wellness facilities designed specifically for families. In terms of Spain, the important characteristic is that they understand thermalism, although it's less outdoors, more indoors and more on the medical side, but still they understand what hot springs are. And also they have a large number of facilities in the Balearic Islands as well as on the Canary Islands, and they have very strong interest in developing those even further. So the Spanish-speaking market will find already back home a very strong supply. So we need to look out for that. In terms of France, the thermalism is also something that they understand. It is very strong, and they have great brands, especially luxury brands, especially in beauty products. So the French wellness visitors are having very high expectations, and they look for products, well-branded products and very good quality products for treatments, facial or body. And they also understand local products, locally branded products, since they like the use of local herbs, plants, even food items, drinks in the wellness menu. Also have to mention Talasso, which is using the sea, which is microclimate sand, the salt in treatments, and the French are really very happy to take those services. In terms of Switzerland, what you have to mention is the strong role of nature in the development of wellness services in terms of alpine resorts, combination of ski and wellness. And also have to mention that the Swiss market has very high expectations in terms of services and the conceptual description of what we do, not just services per se, but the whole journey, the whole package, the whole story. In terms of Netherlands, the important thing is that they represent demand, less like supply, because back home it's very limited. But especially in terms of holistic services, the Dutch are great travelers, and they're very happy to take holistic packages, yoga treatments, and yoga-based trainings. As the last country to mention here is the UK, where the supply is relatively limited to small boutique hotels, mansions, and spas. And often these are very high quality, and urban facilities as well, which are typical in the case of the US as well. But the British represent probably the largest market in terms of holistic demand in Europe. They take holistic packages, 1 week, 2 week packages all around the world. They are very much interested in yoga, very much interested in veganism, very much interested in anything is holistic. And of course, they can be a new market for train-the-trainers in the yoga supply. Mentioning a couple of even more exciting details from various countries, I wanted to highlight the supply of saunas and steam rooms in Germany. So when you develop something in Costa Rica, either wet or dry, please be careful that Europeans may not be very impressed by those unless it's incorporating nature or it is being outdoors, since literally you can have anything and everything in Germany in terms of steam rooms and saunas, especially sauna rituals. So a basic Finnish style sauna room wouldn't impress a German. They really have absolutely fantastic facilities, and they host the sauna world championships, always in Germany, sometimes in Holland. So sauna culture or steam room culture in Germany is fantastic. Also, they have a large distributor of wellness hotels and resorts. It's Wellness Hotels and Resorts International. And this platform distributes the largest supply of wellness-oriented hotels and facilities. And so the Germans do understand that countries can have wellness-specific distribution sites, and they would have very strong standards and expectations. In Austria, I copied you a couple of very interesting and very different facilities. One of them is in the Alps. Stunning locations, amazing architecture and sites and experiences, and hot spring-based facilities. Also in terms of design, which is another amazing facility for other part of the country. And also wanted to just introduce as an example how family orientation really is manifested in Austria. Large number of slides, indoors, outdoors, different ages, sauna for babies, sauna for families. So they really understand what family-based wellness facilities can mean. Talking about Spain, we need to mention Ibiza in particular, as well as Lanzarote or Gran Canaria, since those places are really strongly developing their wellness services. I want to rebrand the islands as well as destinations, so the market can be really very competitive, looking at France, as looking at Spain, and as well as France later. But especially in Spain, we have high-end, very much specialized facilities such as SHA Clinic, which is a wellness clinic, which really coined the terminology. So in terms of Spain, you can find a large number of facilities from different parts of the product spectrum. So the Spanish market can find a lot of things back home. So we need to look into the very specific qualities of Costa Rica, how we can lure the wellness-oriented demand out of Spain. In terms of France, you can see the very different approaches here, such as in the Alps, winter outdoor facilities, beautiful countryside mansions with a lovely little spa, boutique spa in the back, or historic buildings such as in Vichy. And of course, we have the beauty products that we need to think of, since many hot spring facilities translating, as well as other herbal companies translating the France brand into beauty products. This is an opportunity for Costa Rica to develop all those signature products in terms of body treatments and facial products. I have to mention, of course, Switzerland, and the same thing, similar to France in that case, fantastic locations out in the Alps, on top of the hills, beautiful architecture, amazing scenery, traditional old facilities with the history and the heritage and the tradition of healing, non-invasive medical treatments, but also a lot of spa and wellness treatments. And of course, we have the La Prairie, for example, which is one of the top brands in terms of beauty products. So the market in Switzerland is very strong, and there's no surprise that Switzerland can attract the highest spending demand from the Middle East, also from Russia, and even the UK, because of the high quality of the services. In terms of the UK, I wanted to introduce the variety of the demand, which is having a yoga platform, which I believe it's very familiar to many of you, because you can find similar, obviously different nature, but similar yoga platforms all around in the country, in Costa Rica, small-scale boutique facilities in the countryside, in the mansion, and also the relatively standard high-end hotel-based spa facilities in major cities in the UK. One more country which I wanted to mention, and that is Finland, which I really invite you to visit, because they created a brand which is called Authentic Fin Relax Experience, defining local small-scale experiences which all contribute to relaxation. They don't call it wellness, but they call it relaxation, and they branded it as Fin Relax Experiences. It can be just a sauna in the nature, it can be ice lake, it can be just a little house by the lake where there's not even electricity and you chop the wood for yourself. So they really created a large range of facilities as well as products, and the Finnish Tourist Office is branding it internationally. And don't forget, the #1 theme for Finland at the moment is silence. And I think we can learn a lot from that for the case of Costa Rica. So looking at, as a summary, the various countries and various service facilities, look at the variety in terms of hotel resort spas, thermal bath and spa, wellness hotels, destination spas, and holistic or spiritual retreats. We looked at these countries earlier, but this is now a different categorization of the competition. And you can see that the US, India, Thailand, they have a large number of facilities in terms of holistic and spiritual retreats, whereas you wouldn't find Thailand in thermal facilities or necessarily in wellness hotels. So every time you look at competition, you need to look at the type of facility that you would like to see the competition in. Since, for example, in the US, there's a large number of destination spas, large number of holistic spiritual retreats, and we have a lot of resorts and hotels with spas. But in sort of thermal, the US is very much lagging behind, although they do have resources, but they haven't developed those. So please always be careful how you define your competition and look at it by products. And in terms of the number of facilities in countries, you can see that Germany, Austria, Switzerland, they really top the international market, since they have a large number of facilities, and which means that the market from those countries can be very experienced, which is good because they have strong wellness demand, but also it can mean a challenge to Costa Rica because the expectations of these markets can be very specific and very high. And don't forget the US understanding of wellness, the US understanding of spa, and the European understanding of wellness and spa, it really does differ. Those two things do differ, since the US understanding and more on the high-end hotel and spa product, whereas in the European market, we have literally everything. Holistic facilities, hot spring facilities, destination spas, hotels and resorts. So anything is existing there. So when you look at European markets, please be careful that we need to look at countries specifically and individually, as well as facility types individually and country by country. We cannot say that the European market is doing this and the European market is looking for this and this, since the UK market is very different from the German market per se. We're very much looking forward to discuss these topics with you and trying to provide recommendations when we are going to meet in person. Gracias.